One young lady, she was 13 years old, and I'm going to tell you what made her significant and what made her stand out. I'm reading her resume, and she has a resume like a grown person. And I'm like, my goodness, what in the world? And so I'm looking at it, and I had another colleague that's interviewing her as well. And so I serve as a math coach where I'm at the high school that I'm at. And so he grabs the resume, and he can't talk, he's blinking. He's just blinking, and I'm going to tell you why. This young lady in the 8th grade at 13 years old is taking 11th grade math already. She's doing that. She is doing stuff with her church. She's on the praise dance ministry. She's collaborating with community organizations and nonprofits. And so, I mean, it's just the dream child. It's like, you know, can I adopt you? And so, while my colleague is still blinking, I have to respond because he's not saying anything. I was like, I'm sorry. Let me explain to you what's happening. We are just amazed that you are so young and you are so focused. How do you fit all of this stuff in? As a matter of fact, I said, if you are taking, and the math that she's taking is math 3 or 11th grade math. 11th grade math, what is it like being an 8th grader taking that with all the stuff that you were doing? And she basically says something equivalent to, I encourage myself. Now, if a 13-year-old, because what she says is this, she says, I get distracted like everybody else.
That's right.
I get distracted by my phone. I get distracted by people trying to get me to hang out. But she says, I know that I have things that I'm trying to accomplish, so I start to talk to myself.
Yes.
And she says, her name is Victoria. She says, Victoria, you got things that you have to accomplish. Let's get back on the ball. Now, this girl is 13 years old. And some of us just turned 21 and still ain't got it. Amen. Shout out to the birthday girl. So, you aren't just talking to yourself. You are many times encouraging yourself.
Amen.
So, I want you to remember a couple of things as you are fighting for restoration and change. First and foremost, remember, David was greatly distressed. And so one thing we have to realize, and one thing I realized even within this week, is that life happens.
Yeah.
Life happens. Let's not get so religious that when life stuff happens, we're spiritualizing.
Yeah.
Oh, the devil has just jumped in my car. No, you didn't change the oil in the car. You ain't changed the spark plug since you got it. So life is going to happen to you.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The race is not given to the swift nor the strong, but time and chance happen to them all. So if you didn't wash the salt off the bottom of your car during the winter, it's a good possibility if you've done that long enough, you're going to have some rust.
Yeah.
And so don't get mad and say, oh, the devil jumped in the engine and in the muffler. And then, no, you're going to get you a new Cadillac converter. That's what it's going to boil down to. Life happens. You can't spiritualize everything. Now, yes, some things are spiritual problems. But remember, when we look in Ephesians chapter 6, it says, after you have done all. Some of us haven't done all, and then we want to get spiritual. Oh, I'm in warfare. Praise the Lord. You ain't stood on nothing. You ain't prayed. Oh, the devil just got up in my blood pressure. No, that pork sandwich got up in your blood pressure. Now you got to go see Sister Angel. You got to go get your... So purpose is bigger than what occurs to you. Salvation empowers the fight. It doesn't exempt you from it.
Yeah.
And life is a story made for fighters. Life is a story made for fighters. Second thing I want to share with you is that while the soul of all the people was grieved, you have to realize that the center of your life gives your fight perspective. So when all of these things began to happen, it started to put in perspective where everybody was really postured. Because see, the men, fighting wasn't the center of their life. They wanted to have peaceful lives just like everybody else, but the thing that they were fighting for was then taken from them. And let's just be honest. Yes, we love the Lord and everything else, but if something happens to your dear children, you feel some kind of way about it. So you have to remember what you're fighting for. And where you are postured as you are in that particular fight. Who has your back while you are fighting for those particular things? Because our children are under attack.
Yeah.
I was telling Mother Margaret, there was a string of sickness that is flowing through different children. Older children, there's one member that said her daughter, who is older, has some type of sickness, and they've been back and forth to the hospital just like we have this week. So people have been dealing with flu and bronchitis and pneumonia and everything else. So I'm hearing about all of these things. And children are under attack. I've gone through and I've talked about different things, and I'll tell you why with a couple of my points here. So your soul showcases what is the heartbeat of your life. Your soul will showcase the heartbeat of your life. Your soul also encompasses your appetites, your emotions, and your passions. So yes, these gentlemen, their soul was wrapped around fighting. They had a certain amount of emotion to it. And I've seen some fighters that show no emotion. Those are the ones that scare me. Because y'all know them, some of them in your family. So some of them were y'all. And this is how you know it's you. When you say, you know what, I just black out. And those are the ones that really scare me. What were you thinking? I don't know, I just blacked out. The Exorcist? I just blacked out. All right, Batman. Also, expect the soul to be under attack during warfare. You expect the soul to be under attack because we're not wrestling against flesh and blood. And so the thing that's going to start hitting at you more, so you think many times it's your flesh. For instance, you have an anxiety attack. You think that's your flesh. No, that's your soul. Your soul, because all the stress and everything else, and then your body says, okay, I'm going to get you comfortable real quick. Just calm down, breathe. I can't breathe. And then so all of these different signals are going on. I learned something this week. I was listening to this gentleman on the radio, and he talked about PTSD. And he said 80% of the cases of PTSD from the military that they're reporting now are actually not even from the battlefield. But they are actually, it is provoked by what happened or irritated by what happened on the battlefield, but it is actually from childhood trauma. And so he said he was talking to one particular general, and he said, I appreciate this information coming out that you shared with us, because now I can better help my young men that are out here. He said, I am losing more young men after we have finished fighting than I did on the actual battlefield. Because now I've gotten into the soul has been tampered with. And somebody has tapped into something saying, no, your childhood wasn't everything you thought it was. I know people now that when you start talking about their childhood, they have this big fantasy. A big fantasy about what happened when they were children. It's like, no, that wasn't your childhood. That was the Cosbys. You think about the Huxtables in a different world. That wasn't you. So we also have to get into this point where we have a mindset change. Some of us have a very fixed mindset. That it's always going to be this way or whatever else. And your language is actually dictating where your mindset is. If you have a failure in your life, you shouldn't say, you know what, I am a failure. You say, you know what, I didn't get it this time, but I have to strive for something. There's some things I have to change. See, because now you're growing. See, there's different ways that you can take a setback. You can take it as, okay, this is going to be a means for me to grow, or you can say, you know what, this is it. I can't do this anymore. If you think about some of the individuals that have sparked innovation in our society, a lot of them failed numerous times, but they didn't give up. And the last thing that we have to do within that is we have to guard our heart according to Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. I'm just going to go over a couple more points with you all. I had a lot of this, the rest of this might just be on Wednesday during our Uber conference. So remember, this was of the people, so your most intense warfare often comes from those you love. These were people of his nation, his kindred, his countrymen. It was the congregated unit. And so we have to understand that first and foremost, people are people. They misunderstand, they lie, they get emotional, they fall. People are not the source of our faith. Remember Hebrews chapter 11, you just read that whole chapter. And then Romans chapter 10, verse 17, that, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of God. Amen. And then also, people are not the source of your fight. Please hear me. Amen. People are not the source of your fight. Now, David would have been very ignorant to begin fighting with the people that were there that he was supposed to be fighting alongside. But remember in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 3 through 5, that we're not wrestling against flesh and blood, and also Ephesians chapter 6, where we have to put on that armor to fight.
Amen.
And then the next thing is life circumstances can leave you grieved. In Ruth chapter 1, we hear about a young lady, and she says, just call me bitter. She says, call me bitter, because of how life has left me. She says, all of my children have died. She said, my husband died, so I'm a widow, and then I lost my kids, so there's nobody to take care of me, so I'm broke, busted, and disgusted. And I don't know why, Ruth, you would want to be with me. Don't call me by my name anymore.
Amen.
Just call me by my attributes. And some of us, we have accepted that, you know what, because of the attributes that I'm showcasing, just call me that. And this bitterness, if you think about it, it has plagued a lot of individuals. Because when you think of some of the life choices that people have made, and then as they go throughout life, they have no problem being called by what they do. Somebody that is addicted to crack, and you call them out by that particular name, they accept it. Somebody that has prostituted themselves enough, they say, you know what, just call me that. You can call me whatever you want, just as long as you pay me my money. And another thing life circumstances can do is they can leave you provoked. 1 Samuel chapter 1. Remember Hannah, she goes through this process of being provoked till she was just sore with it. That she could not have babies for her husband. And you know how, I don't know how women get when they get, I guess it's like a Basketball Wives thing or something, or whatever one of the crazy shows is, where they're just provoking individuals. And so this is what was going on. And she said, look, I can have all these children by your man, and he's spending more time with me because I can produce and you can't. Because women, y'all know how y'all get at each other. Y'all just say something about each other's hair or whatever. Because I see how y'all compliment each other. So I can only imagine the flip side. Pastor, and I sit back and I watch, okay, this flip. What would this look like? It don't look good. I can see how this would be tore up. Because men, we don't understand. Brothers, we just like, it's a nice suit. Oh, I see you got your fade tight. That's what's up. Nice J's, Nice shoes, brother. That's a nice suit. I like that tie. Brothers, we don't talk much though. So we got an issue with you. We just fight. So we just like. So it's no reverse with our dialogue. But ladies, y'all can say stuff like, oh, that's nice. And somebody else takes it a certain way. But y'all know y'all provoke each other. Y'all provoke each other. I'm learning as a pastor. I'm learning because I'm seeing it. Like, okay, now this flipped around. So just know, I'm looking at the compliments, but I said, if this flips, Lord. Oh, I felt the preach right there. Flip around. This is going to be a mess up in here. And in conclusion, let me just say this. Warfare is an expectation to those with purpose. I'm going to end with this one. It is an expectation to those with purpose. Now, as I said before, David, he's been through a lot of different levels of warfare. And some of it, he did put on himself. Like I said, let's be real about this. There's a certain reality in restoration. David wanted, with more than anything else, to restore his son Absalom. He wanted to restore him. He wanted to bring him back into his good graces. But Absalom did not want to be restored. Neither did he want to be forgiven. He didn't want to repent. But David, he runs from his son because, and his son takes it as, oh, David's weak. He's not even going to fight me. No father wants to fight his son. I've seen father-son fights. They don't look good. Because these young boys nowadays, they think all they got to do is headshots. Old school, they hit you in your body. Some of y'all know what I'm talking about. I got some fighters in here. Them body shots, they leave a mark on your life. So David says, I'm not trying to bring him this old school flavor right now. So I'd rather run away from him than give him the business. See, he forgets I'm the same one that used to have to spank his little behind. And I saw he was crying then. So if I have to hit him with these hands, for real, it's going to be bad. And if I got to pull out the sword of Goliath, because he really get to tripping. it's not going to be a good thing. So David writes this, and I leave this with you. It's Psalm chapter 3. He says, Lord, how are they increased that trouble me? Many are they that rise up against me. Many there be which say of my soul, there is no help for him in God. And he says, Selah, think about it. But thou, O Lord, art a shield for me, my glory and the lifter up of mine head. So you have to many times encourage yourself. Sometimes you're in a process of restoration and you're constantly having to restore yourself or strengthen yourself and repair yourself or grow firm and be urgent within yourself. Because you have to remember that your faith is bigger than a moment. It has the impact of a lifetime. Clap those hands. I'm done.